Hi, guys.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Hey, Coach.
Yep.
Hello, Ralph. Zim,
What's
Bob
up?
Booth.
Yeah, you had to laugh when you saw this crew, didn't you, Coach?
I did. Hello, Aaron.
Oh, there he is.
I think I'm on.
It takes Rem about a half hour to get me on.
Oh, well, can anyone hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Zim,
What's up, Beavs?
how you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good to see you.
You too.
Right on. Yeah, I see you on FaceTime living the dream with your kid and your lovely
Oh,
wife.
same.
It's pretty awesome.
Same to you, brother. It's awesome to see
Yeah.
such a beautiful family. Thank God your wife is so darn talented.
You don't even know.
Well, I have an idea.
Yeah. I always tell my kids at school that one of the best things they'll ever do is marry a good spouse. You know, it'll make life either hell on you or wonderful for you. So
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
I couldn't be more happy. I tell I'm blessed every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
I think both of us, Zim, outkicked our coverage. So,
Right.
you know,
Way far.
yeah. Isn't that the truth?
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many years you been married? Beaves,
30.
how long have you been married?
Going on 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Zim, how about you?
30, Coach.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Best accomplishment I've ever had.
Bobby Booth, how long you been married?
25.
How long?
25.
25. What are you going to do to celebrate that?
What's that?
What are you going to do to celebrate?
I don't know. We got so many things, so many irons in the fire. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Bobby Booth, how are you doing, my friend?
Good, Beavs. Good to see you.
Yeah. Hey, same thing when I was talking with Zim. It's fun to see you and your family on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, those things that I can somehow thumb around on. But
Yeah, this last week was pretty big. Our son, he committed to University of Utah for baseball.
Yeah, I thought I read that. Congratulations. That's
So
awesome.
he was down to a couple schools back east, and his coach called him out of practice and said, "Go in the dugout and get your phone and answer it from whoever who calls. You're getting a call in a minute." And he was pretty jacked. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
yeah.
Good stuff.
Does he go there in the fall or is this summer, or when does he go there?
He'll go this fall. He'll go down to Portland for the summer and play summer ball in the collegiate league for a team called the Portland Pickles, and then from there he'll head out to Salt Lake. So we're gonna try and go first week of June to do a visit. That's when they're letting official visits start again. So we're gonna try and get out there and check things out. But he's pretty excited.
He should probably come to Sioux Falls and play in the summer league in Sioux Falls.
Dude, that would be punishment. I mean, the heat and humidity. Portland's a great place in the summer.
I guess you know what it's like. Hello, Hypo. How come it says Alex? Is that Alex Rojas? Is that
Alex
Hypo?
Rojas.
Hey, Chad, we're getting a lot of feedback. At least I am on Coach. I don't know if everyone else
Same
is.
here.
Hey, I'll mess with this thing.
Just mute yourself.
Everybody needs a Chad in their life.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Better?
A lot better.
Seems to be.
Okay. Rem can fix anything. I put Rem to work out in my yard for about a half hour after he came, so he's earned his keep tonight. So he had to help me put some rocks back around some bushes and stuff. I got this broken arm, so
Yeah.
that's a good excuse.
I heard that.
not to
I heard
do
that cast came off a week ago, and you've just been faking it to get Chad to do stuff.
That's right.
Gives Chad something to do.
Well, Alex, you look just like Tim Heupel tonight.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, but I'll
I
take
think
it.
it's a compliment, really.
I'm here.
I thought Tim was going to be on, so and I glanced down, and then I noticed your name, and I thought, no, that's not him. So you got the same hairdo.
So I do.
You and
It
Hype
seems
got
to
the
be a
same.
hairdo of age. It's an aging hairdo.
You didn't have to do it just to look like me, though.
Oh,
You're a lot younger than me.
yes, I am.
How old are you, Alex?
I'm going to be 60 in September.
Oh my goodness. You realize how that makes me feel.
Young. How old are you, Coach? Just to fill that one
82.
in.
82.
Wow. Look at that.
You ever think I'd live that long?
I didn't think I'd live to be 40, and here I am.
Yeah, well, I wondered about that a couple times, but no, I knew you'd survive. I didn't know what you were doing when you went to South America, though. I thought you might get yourself in trouble down there when you're down there running BF Goodrich down there, right?
Yeah, that's what I did for about 10 years throughout the continent. By the way, I just wanted to give you guys an update. Maybe Coach knows about it, maybe he doesn't, but I got a text today from Joan Sim that Jay had a procedure done, and it turned out pretty well. He's got some discomfort, and they did a medical procedure to his liver, which cut off the blood flow to the tumor in his liver, and they planted some chemo beads in there that I guess will function to help reduce the tumor. So he's scheduled to go back for an MRI in about a month or so. Other than that, he seems to be resting comfortably.
Well, that was I wasn't exactly sure. I thought he was just going to start in chemo by an infusion is what I thought he was going to do. But that was a procedure that I had no clue that that's what they were going to do. But sounds like a pretty extensive process, procedure to get those seeds planted in your liver by going, I don't know where they start. They go into your probably somewhere in your crotch area, I suppose, right in your
Yeah,
thigh.
one of those main arteries. That was
No idea.
my understanding on what they did.
No idea. So.
To Joan, Aaron,
What's that, Coach?
did you talk to Joan?
No. But I got an email from her also, or a text message, and then Jay just tried calling me. I was outside and didn't get to my phone. Tried calling him back, but so probably in the middle of this meeting he'll call, or maybe he'll jump on. I don't know.
I wouldn't doubt. Maybe he might.
Yeah.
He did a good job last week when he was on. He really took charge of the meeting and everything, so that was good to hear. And he's been to Texas and back already, though.
Yeah, he was down there for that wedding. So
yeah, I talked to him when he was in Texas for just a very short time.
Mhm.
Zim, tell us a little bit before we put Aaron on here about your small group out there, will you?
Oh yeah, I sure apologized last 2 weeks ago for not being able to get on. I had that weirdness going on with the family friend that had passed away, and but boy, you guys were really on my heart, because the funeral happened on the day of our morning men's group that happens every Thursday, and I was just thinking about how important those men's groups are, and we've been doing ours for 12 years now. And one of my former football players is now he's taken over as a state FCA director. And so we've invited him to our group, and it's great to see his growth and to see what he's trying to do with the direction of the FCA in Wyoming. And so I remember when we had a couple back-to-back pretty tough football seasons, and it was one of those perfect storms where the bad breaks were happening. We were just missing some key things, and what was happening with the coaches, it was getting a little disjointed, and our language wasn't so great. And you could tell the way we were treating our young men wasn't really great. And it was right at the end of the season, we all looked at each other and said, something's got to change. This just isn't working. And it was funny because a lot of us had been doing some splintered Bible studies and groups in our own area. And we said, if we're going to make this thing work, we need to get together as a staff. And so we spent a lot of time researching how we were going to do it and making that commitment. And, as soon as we did, just everything changed. We got our perspective back, got rid of the hot-headedness, and just kind of grounded everybody. And it's been phenomenal. And so we meet every Thursday, and we have for, like I said, 12 years. And the things that we've worked through with each other, through marriages and divorces and losing kids, and the football is always, the reason we're together, but it's not the primary reason behind, all of our meetings. And I just think that there's nothing more powerful than a group of Christian men getting together and supporting each other through life. And the number of kids we can impact and the way we've impacted each other is just phenomenal. And I didn't have that basis, when I came to Sioux Falls. It just wasn't part of my life growing up. Parents could care less what we were doing, and there wasn't a Christian influence. And it got to where I just absolutely thought that the world had flipped upside down when we'd go to chapel on our nights as a football team, because I'd never had any of that. Right. I never knew that. And so the seed was planted, and I couldn't wait to get back here. And when I started my teaching career, I hooked up with some really good people. And so it's always been constant since I left the coup. But I think about how it works now with we got a bunch of young coaches on staff. And as you know, Tommy Grogan played for the coup. He's an integral part of our team. I just think about how important it is. And I don't know how guys get through this world raising kids and kicking butt in their marriage and doing the job they do in teaching and coaching without having that Christ influence. And so we hold each other accountable. It's just fantastic. And it's really been apparent these last couple of weeks, because there's been a lot of just tough things going down with our group and in our community. So, and I know all you guys are, or I think most of you are involved in some men's groups and some Bible studies. And if I make my way out there this summer, I can't wait to sit down and visit a little bit with you guys and just see how it's transformed your lives as we've gotten a little older. So yeah, that's about it, Coach.
Well, thank you.
That's awesome.
Tell Tommy hi from me, will you?
Oh, I always do.
Well, we're going to let Aaron share some of his life story a little bit. I don't know where you want to start. You want to start in Hemet, Aaron, or?
In 1967.
Tell him
I'm
about
not sure.
that early stages of what kind of happened there. You came to play baseball, and that story a little bit, kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for you guys that are out there, and I'm not sure, I guess who's all on this right now. I just see, several or a few people, but, like Coach said, I'm Aaron Beavers here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, but was born and raised in Southern California, and somehow found my way up to Sioux Falls. I had a brother-in-law that was coaching up here, Brad Pohl. Many of you guys know him. Kind of a last second deal. I was kind of set to go to San Diego State and play baseball, do that thing. And, you know, I loved the game of football. I wasn't real great at it, but I was good enough, I guess, to play small college ball. And Bob took a chance on me and got me up here and you know, came up to Sioux Falls, and without ever visiting, well, any of the Dakotas, and let alone the campus, and you know, got up here and was a little bit lost, you know, it was lost in a lot of ways. You know, to come in to a school, and a lot like Zim was talking about, you know, I you know, had Christ in front of me, like we all do, but you know, growing up, my parents, and I mean, especially my mom, strict Roman Catholic. I got 8 siblings, so I'm either Catholic or Mormon, I suppose. But you know, we somewhat, you know, studied the Bible, but you know, it was just words, you know, and like I said, a little bit like Zim, I came up here, was on my own, and just to see how Christ was working, you know, period. I mean, just I really didn't have my eyes open to that. And I'll give one example. And Bob, I think we shared this in our Bible study a couple of weeks ago. You know, one of the largest or first impacts that my brother-in-law, Coach Fuller, Brad, had on me was we came, he picked me up from the airport. My luggage never made it here for like a week or something like that, but picked me up at the airport and took about 3 minutes to show me the campus, drove around the block. And then he took me out for dinner and we went to Taco John's. Of course, you know, Coach Pohl, he had to have Taco John's. And we order our food and we get our tray and we go sit down. And he like paused everybody there. You know, Rhonda was with us, and I think even Sid came along to help to pick me up. And we stopped and prayed, you know, said grace for the food we were about to receive right there in Taco John's. And to me, that was like, whoa, like right in public, right here. We're not in a church. So my point with that quick story is, you know, I had church, but I didn't have a relationship. And, you know, all those things were out in front of me, you know, at a place like Sioux Falls College and someone like it, we all know, you know, Coach Young. It was just a matter of me taking the reins or not. And, you know, it's just like anything else. It was a roller coaster. You'd have highs and lows, just like how life is. But, you know, I really didn't probably find or started to have a true relationship with him probably until, you know, second or third year, you know, in college, and looking at what you're going to do after that, you know, a lot of things. And, you know, but I thought I found that at times, and then at times I didn't. And, you know, met Jessica, my wife, and right away in second year in college, and married her, and right when we got out of college in 91. And, you know, she has a, you know, a strong faith in her family. And again, it was another person that God put in my life for a number of reasons, but one was to see how the Lord works in, you know, a relationship part, you know, other than just, you know, the church. And, you know, and like we mentioned earlier, you know, we're working on 30 years now, and 2 boys, and I got one graduating this week, or we hope, but, and then another one will be graduating next year. So, but, you know, getting back to, you know, the spiritual part of all this is, I think at times I had the relationship, and then for other reasons I started to lose it. And after helping Bob out a year or two at Sioux Falls College, and I took a job in Gregory, South Dakota, coaching football. And, went out there and was just blessed with really good players. And we had a lot of success. I was there 5 years, 4 years as the head coach. And, I think we were like, 43-4 or something like that. We won a lot of games. They did. I just was lucky enough to be around. And again, Jess and I, this is pre-kids. For a period of time, we tried to have our own family, and God had a different plan for us for quite a while. And we did the in vitro, all of those things to kind of have our own, and it just wasn't working out. And we actually signed up, took course and everything for adoption, and then we decided to give in vitro just one last shot for a number of reasons. One, just probably running out of faith and hope. And we gave it one more shot, and God blessed us with getting pregnant. And we were pregnant with twins, and and the pregnancy was going fine, at the beginning. And I was out in Sturgis, South Dakota, coaching a football game at that time. At this time, I was back here in Sioux Falls coaching at Lincoln High, and we were out in Sturgis, and got a call right before. We went out and did warm-ups, came back into the locker room, and got a call at the time. I think this was early cell phones too, and somehow got a message to me that Jesse was in the hospital, hemorrhaging. And anyways, long story short is we just had some complications, and we ended up losing one of the twins. And the doctor, basically said, the other one's probably not gonna make it. And God was really testing me in a lot of ways, but that, of course, was one. And you're trying to find answers, and kind of what's going on, why this road, a lot of questions we've all had in our lives. But anyways, this second baby, Bo, hung on, and then we had the pregnancy, continue. I think it was at 20 weeks, something like that. No, 18 weeks, I'm sorry, when we lost one of the twins. And so we had Bo, and we're thought as one kid, that's a great blessing. We went 11 years trying to have one, and we were blessed with one. And then without any help other than from God, we were pregnant 16 weeks later with 16 months later, I'm sorry, and had Easton. And so I think I told Bob you this story, and this is my firm belief, is that God gave us Easton, and I just believe that Easton was the other twin. That I think God said, you know what, you handled it, you kind of passed that test. Here's the twin, Bo's twin. It's just, we're going to give it to you a year and a half later. And I just really believe that was the case. And again, we were blessed with two beautiful kids, and I remind myself daily, of that. And all you out there, we have family, and how important that is to you. But we were really tested in a lot of ways to even get started with that. But anyways, back to kind of where it was at. And as you can tell, I kind of went to the Bob Young public speaking school I kind of jump around a little bit. So did you get that, Bob?
I got it. I
Yeah.
got it.
Okay. All right.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, that is true, isn't it? But anyways, I took a job after Gregory. I went to Luther College, was the OC there. Just wasn't a fit for us as a family, and or with my wife and I. And then we got back here to Sioux Falls, and we kind of just looked at Sioux Falls as being our home. You know, my wife's from North Dakota, but it still had family here. You know, I came here out of California, really no desire ever to go back, except in the winter months, I guess. But, you know, that's another story. But anyways, took a job at Lincoln High School, a program that never won a high school playoff game. Went 2-8 first 2 years. As head coach, thought I could come in and snap my fingers and change it all, and you know, wasn't going about it the right way at all. A little bit like Zim was talking about, how, you know, a couple of years ago they kind of hit that low. Well, I kind of entered into that program, and that's about what it was. And I, you know, I wasn't doing anything to change it as far as you know, the culture. And the culture was, well, you know, we lose, that's what it is. And you try to be a badass in certain ways other than on the field. And what I'm getting at is, you know, from language to, you know, being hotheads, I think you used that term, Zim, you know, was, I mean, it was just a mess. And I just really was looking hard at, you know, God, is this where you want me at? And I mean, I was looking other places, and then just really sat down and started to think, okay, well, how do you change the culture when, you know, you're not winning? And so we went from, it wasn't X's and O's, because, you know, we had that part. We just didn't have, you know, some people say we didn't have the players. Well, we had some darn good players. They just weren't very good young men, and they were making some really poor choices in their lives, and it's affecting the program. And so that's where I had to start, you know. And so we did something, even though it was a public school, we started doing a breakaway. Bob, this is where Mitch chose entered kind of in my life, and with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and Fellowship of Christian Sportsmen is kind of what he runs now. But his boy was in the Lincoln district, and we started doing a breakaway out at one of the church camps south of here, down near Canton, Inspirational Hills. And we obviously, we said it's not mandatory, but, you know, wink, wink, you know, you come to this breakaway. And we took them out there for 2 days, and we always had a guest speaker with you know, some type of faith-based story behind it. We've had a number of different ones over the years, and you know, started to build the program there. It was a big part of what started to change the culture there, and just trying to make, you know, good young men first, and then you know, then the football will come. And you know, it did. We, like I said, we went 2-8, and then 4-6, and 6-4, and we were blessed enough to, you know, to be in the semifinals a couple of years. And we won a championship in 2008. So about 5 years, I think, after I took over. So we went to, you know, finally won a playoff game, and then you know, the next year we had some upsets and beat the number 1 and 3 teams to get in the championship and then win it. And I mentioned this again, Bob, this is probably, you know, you're hearing it again. But in 2008, we won, and you would think I would be a really happy camper. And I was absolutely miserable. And I was miserable because of a number of reasons, but one was I really struggled, and always have, for a long period of time with, anxiety and depression, and immediately we won, and my mind flipped to, well, I got to do this every year. And literally it was that night. I mean, I'm already thinking who's leaving, who's gone, what kids are coming up, and put on this real fake face of how to, of enjoying it. I was happy for a lot of people. And really at that time, I didn't know how to be kind of happy for myself and giving, glory to God on that. And it was, I mean, I look back at it and you'd think I should look back very fondly and think how great it was and that we were able to do some of those things. But, I wasn't handling it well. And, again, in 2009 and 10 and 11 and had, still had some success, got to the semifinals, ran into some buzzsaws from Sioux Falls, Washington, just, didn't have as much talent as they did. And then towards the later time, I was at Lincoln in 2000, I think it was 13. We went on a 28-game win streak, won back-to-back championships, and it was the same thing, guys. It was the same thing. I mean, we won, and immediately I was anxiety-ridden, depressed. I think I look back on it, it was more of a depression of, oh, well, that time's over, and now I got to start this all over again. And the sacrifices that I made, my family made, and I just couldn't handle it. So how I handled a lot of it was in my later years there, especially in 14 or 15, is then I'd self-medicate and start, abusing alcohol. And, no, knowing it was wrong, but hey, I could handle it. I mean, I thought I got this under control, again, saw doctors for anxiety and some of those things, and medication I didn't stick with. And instead, it was a cool Bud Light that helped kind of, calm my nerves or whatever it is. Well, long story longer, it led to me leaving Lincoln High and seeking help. And got out in 2016, 15, I think it was 16. And, got a little help from some people, even within the church. And then, said, I'm going to do it myself, and went 2 years, nothing, but I was miserable. And they have a term for it in treatment. They called it dry drunk. What I still don't know what that means, guys. Just other than I was still dealing with, those issues. And the more I struggled with anxiety and those things, the further I was away from my relationship with Christ. Even though, I went to him when things were really bad, like, geez, I need help here. Well, yeah, but then not being faithful. And then, they use that word relapse. I don't know. I don't think it's a relapse when I really was never cured, other than I just went 2 years without anything. And then I, one night, had several drinks. And that was February 9th in 2018. And took myself, or had my brother take me, and we went up to Betty Ford up in northern Minnesota. And I spent some time there, and it was awesome. I found myself, strengthened my relationship with my Lord. And and it's been work, of course, since, but that was the lowest of lows, to you know, just to give everything up and to not have any control, and said, you know, Lord, this is all you. And because the other way wasn't working. And, you know, with me, that was just tough because control freak, and gave it up, and, you know, got help and continue to get help in a number of ways, clear down from many of you guys out there, and how much you've helped me that you don't even know, you know, you included, Coach Young. You know, during those times, I don't know if you remember, but we had some talks on the phone, and but it was and is still a work in progress, just like our Christianity. And you know, to feel the, you know, the power of God is just, you know, unbelievable. You know, on that February 9th, when I had some drinks, I knew that I had to surrender. And I had to surrender, you know, there's two ways of doing it. I either totally surrender to the alcohol and let it eat me up, or I surrender everything into God. And on that night, the last time I looked down at the speedometer in my vehicle, I was going 75 into a T road, intersection that was a T in a Toyota 4Runner that's top heavy in a pile of crap. You guys all know Toyotas. And just said, I'm going to fly into this field, and went off the road and went into the field. And for some reason, after about 30 feet in the air across to cattle fence, the thing, we hit, hands off the wheel, no seatbelt, and the car stayed straight as an arrow, never tipped, never leaned. It rested down in the middle of the field, and me still in the car. And the next day, I was getting treatment. And so, you know, look at a number of ways. I ended that and said, man, oh man, God, you have plans for me, because there's no way I should have gotten through that. And I didn't know what those were. I knew there was a whole lot of work to do. And there's still, you know, a lot of work going on. But he's got plans for me. And like I said, that's been over 2 years ago. And got back into coaching, coaching at O'Gorman High School as an assistant coach, and got to be around my kids, you know, as they're enjoying the game of football and other things. But you know how blessed I am, how we all are. But you know, it was just a matter of, you know, taking the horse by the reins finally, and holding on and squeezing it tight and white knuckling that on those reins, and you know, and giving glory where glory belongs. And the unbelievable weight that has been lifted is just, you know, unbelievable. And you know, and like I said, God has a plan for me. Still don't know what that is. It's every day, it's mapped out, and then I just follow it. And but you know, my thing is, with, if anyone's struggling with those things too, and I don't know, maybe, you know, somebody out there, one of you guys, something like that, of course my line's always open. But you know, God's so good, and I've been blessed with people put in front of me, and now I, you know, clear-eyed and able to see all of that. And you know, it's all good stuff, you know. So I don't know where else you want me to go with this, Bob, or But
Just some of might want to ask some questions possibly.
absolutely. And
Um,
really, guys, I mean, I'm an open book. Everything's on the sleeve, man. I mean, there is, you know, I'm more than happy to share even more. You know, again, I get rambling on and probably maybe should have prepared a little better for some of this, but it feels good to also, you know, share things too.
Yeah, you can tell
But
it's from your heart, Aaron, and as thoughts come to you, you shared them. And I think that's, I think all of us can relate to going through your life, and you sometimes it's hard to put everything in a chronological order quite right. I
yeah,
know it is for me anymore, but
yeah,
I just thinking, Jess is quite a woman to stay with
yeah.
you and to go through that with you. And I just
Amazing.
admire the heck out of her, I'm sure
Yeah.
she was a rock for you at the right time.
Oh, well, you know, of course, you know, and you know, it was tough times. We all know that. I mean, Zim and you and I were talking about how marrying a good woman, just unbelievable on how, how she helped in, you know, in soft love and hard love too, you know, and it just how it worked. I think every day for that, for all the blessings, and you know, with my kids too. This went, you know, and it's when somebody, you know, gets in a little, you know, trouble or leaves for a certain reason, and you know, it's a small town, people know, and this and that, and you know, my kids had to go through that, and it's like, you know, it's not, you know, just a guy, coaching, you know, this him too is, and Bob, you know, this is, you know, everybody knows your business too, and it's in the papers, and you know, everybody wants to know answers, and you know, which, you know, they don't need to, but apparently or they make them up themselves. And you know, for my kids to have to go through that, that's tough. That was really tough. But I had to look at it as God's still gonna give them the strength to do that, you know, go through that too. And God knows how many times I was on my knees asking the Lord to give me strength to accept, you know, my failures. And that is when the weight did come off, guys, is when I could finally, you know, accept that and take the Lord's strength in that. And, you know, and whatever happens, it does. Everybody heard this. It happens for a reason. And it's not my job to question it. It's just my job to keep working at it.
In what way are you proceeding on with your life at this point to help you? Is it people coming into your life again, do you think? Or what do you think, Aaron, at this point?
Well, I'm not sure, you know, what you mean by the people coming in my life. I mean, you know, the biggest thing with me is, and I mentioned this earlier, Coach, is just that my eyes are open and clear. And, you know, and, you know, I lost some relationships, of course, but how many I've gained, you know, through my experience. But, and that's life anyways. You know, we've had people for the most part come and go, but how I'm, you know, pursuing is continue working on my strength with my Lord, and with that, the strength then within the family, you know, is right along with that, and friendships, and you know, the key is to continue to work on that. And you know, of course, you know, we have the ups and down days, right, guys? I mean, you know, you have good and bad days, and there's just fewer and less time in between for me right now. And you know, having that Bible study the last couple of weeks or months with you, Coach, was great. And I've work with, a couple of guys that we share, very similar beliefs. And in some cases, knowing my story, I've been able to work and develop a relationship with some guys that, had some similar demons tugging at their coattails. And I don't know if that's a route that, I'm pursue more, but I feel at times that I'm pulled in that direction, or being pushed in that direction. But I'm letting it come as it comes, and just on how confident, I am in my daily work towards life, this gift that I have been given in a number of ways. So, I don't know if that answered your question, Coach. But
Somebody else got any questions, or maybe you like to use the word exhortation, which is a word of encouragement to some degree to Aaron. Any of you think of something when you were listening to Aaron?
Well, Coach Aaron, this is Bob.
Hey.
I'd heard a couple things kind of going on in your life over the last few years, and I mean, my heart is just aching right now for you. I think for you to come out and share with us is amazing. The success you had, I think, is awesome, and the fact that you weren't able to enjoy that's really sad, and I'm sorry for you. But man, the strength to come out and talk with us about this, I don't have words to say how cool that is. I mean, it's amazing. And, moving away, pretty much a day after graduation, and only being back a few times in the last however many years, I definitely don't have, the relationships with you guys do.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Hang on one second. Jay Wu just called, so I got cut off.
Oh,
Okay, so I'm sorry, but what I tell you, he would call, and I'm trying to figure this out, my friend. I am sorry.
Worries.
So you cut off right when you started to
okay. Well,
to speak. So,
basically, what I was saying is I'm so proud of you to be able to come forward and share this with us, and I'd heard little
Thanks.
bits over the years. And, my point was, you've had some tremendous success in your career, and, to not enjoy that to the level that you should is really sad. And, I was saying, moving away right after college, I don't have the one-on-one relationships that, a lot of you guys enjoy. I still, I feel like I'm getting closer to a lot of you guys over these Zoom meetings and things, but, what a powerful message. And my heart just aches for you. And I'm just so proud of what you're doing.
well, thanks, Bob. And over time and slowly here, I'm taking a little more pride in some of the events that I've been able to be part of, but that, in all honesty, that wasn't until probably just recently, within the last year, that I, look back on that. And a lot of that has been because of people, being put in my lives again, former players, the contacts that have come about, years down the road, and guys, knowing my story and things like that. And it's amazing how many of them like, geez, I didn't know you were struggling with that. And it's like, hey, I was at times a pretty good actor, but also at times I wasn't as good as I thought I was either. So, but over time, that will come. But I'm, more proud about, a lot of other things. But wins and losses, those are pretty cool things. And I'm more proud of some of the relationships that I still have with coaches and players and some of those things. And so, but I appreciate that, Bob, a great deal. It means a lot. Really does.
Hey, Beavs.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you're talking about those championships, my, you know, if we're, and we had this conversation a couple weeks ago, you know, if we're not doing the things that we do and the time that we spend for the right reasons and for the glory of God and for his purpose, and you get locked into self and what does it say about me? And what do the championships say about me? And what do the records say about me? And it's easy to deflect it and say, yeah, the kids did it, but there's that selfish pride in coaching. And we all have to find out what it really means. And I'm almost, it almost makes my heart happy to hear that. I kind of went through the same thing with the victories, and it's kind of hollow if you're not doing them for the right reasons. And I watch you, and I watch your life on Facebook with your family, and I know that those you know, the defeats you have had in life from your story are the things to be celebrated, because look where you're at. And so those defeats have your mind in the place where it's about your family, and you're so blessed to have your sons and your wife, and that comes across in everything you do and say. And that's the reward, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think about how tight we were in college, and I feel
Yeah.
so bad I didn't know a lot of your story. As tight as we were, we were a tight bunch. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
and
we
I just
very much so. Yeah.
but I feel really convicted. I feel really bad. You know, that we weren't there for each other, for our brothers. And I think maybe that's what Coach's message was, you know, when he came to the coup, is, you know, the winning and that stuff takes care of itself. But guys, you better understand the relationships with your buddies, and you better be doing things for the right reasons. And here we are. Thank you, Coach
Yeah.
Young.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're here today having this conversation, Rem, because you got Coach locked into a vision that he had to connect us again. And this thing isn't over yet. So who knows where we're going? But if you think this was by accident that we're here tonight having this conversation, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I applaud your brother, and I'm sorry I wasn't around, and I just, gosh, where does 30 years go? You know.
In my belt line.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, I love you, man, and it's all good. And
Yeah.
gosh, you ever need anything, you know, we can be just as tight as we were.
Yeah,
good.
yeah, you bet. And that's, you know, of course, this is my first Zoom reaching out to you. It just seemed like it never worked with chasing kids around with a hockey player and a wrestler, but that's all died down, and you know, plan to make the time, you know, for this. And now I got it on my phone, so now I can do it from wherever I'm buzzing around. So next time I join you, it might be in the stands at a track meet, but hey, that's okay.
All right.
Hey, Aaron, I heard you mention Mitch Chose and
Yeah,
Fellowship of Christian Sportsmen. When
yeah,
you talk to him, just tell him that I said, and I wish you all the best. Look at that. This is the cap that I keep.
nice. Yeah,
I keep that on I just reached over and grabbed it when you said that.
yeah,
And Zimmerman
yeah.
saying that there's a bigger purpose to this. That absolutely is true, because what would be the odds that you would mention that guy's name, me
Yeah,
knowing him through, you know, Fellowship of Christian Athletes,
yeah,
going pheasant hunting, and me keeping that cap right there. I just keep
Yeah.
it on my desk. I don't hardly
Yeah.
wear it. I got several of them, but I just keep it there. When you
Yeah.
mentioned it, I just started to smile internally.
yeah,
That's one instance where, you know, things ain't over. The other one is I was in Colorado for this week on vacation I took my wife for Mother's Day for a nice long week, about a week vacation at a place out there. And on Tuesday, when I'm flying back, I'm in the airport and our flight's delayed, and I'm wandering around, and you mentioned Brad, right? And
Yeah.
I'm going to go fishing with Brad. I'm going to go fishing with Brad, Montana. But I'm inside
Yeah.
this fly shop because I don't know anything about fly fishing. So I'm looking at all these fly rods and reels and caps and stuff. And lo and behold, I get a text from Brad.
yeah,
Something thanking me for participating in his grit thing. And
Yeah.
while he texts me at that moment, I'm holding a book that says the 50 fly fishing places you should go to before you die. Now, what are the odds of that? and then you here. So,
Yeah.
Zimmerman, you're absolutely right. There's
Yeah.
more to this. There's more to this than any of us understand.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of seeing all these little vibes that you get and these little instances that happen in your life. But those are two things that just happen right now that
Yeah.
just constantly. And so when you talk to Mitch, just tell him that the Lord's got your scent. He'll know what I mean. Because I told him
Okay.
this. I said,
All
the
right.
Lord's like a
All right.
bloodhound. Once he
All
gets
right.
your scent,
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
get away from him.
That's true.
So let him know I
Amen.
said that. Thank you.
Hey, I will
Yeah.
do.
That was good, Alex. Rem, you're pretty quiet, Rem.
I'm wore out. I've been doing yard work all night.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. We started our own business 2.5 years ago. And one of the first people that called me was Aaron. Because he was starting 2 or 3 businesses at the time with with Jess. And he came over one day and we were talking about business cards. He started showing me these pictures on his phone of repairs that he's done to furniture and stuff that he's built. And I'm telling you what, there's a lot of artists in the world. You're looking at one right there. The stuff he has done, repaired, and built is phenomenal. I mean, I've told everyone about it. But it was so cool, again, Alex talking about the timing. We started a business, and I hadn't talked to Aaron for years. And all of a sudden we're making some business cards for him and he's doing some fabulous stuff. But the cool thing about it was that, we got back in touch with each other. And so, I can call him and we can talk about little or nothing or whatever. So the relationships that have been built here are phenomenal. I'm sitting in the parking lot. My mom's having eye surgery, same place coach is having it Wednesday, and Bob Booth calls me from the road just to see what's going on and to make some very pertinent suggestions about, about this, because he's way better at Zoom than I am. And last time we were here, we get done and Zim just gives me a holler and we just talk for a while. Ed was here getting coach shut down, and I just got to talk to Zim, and Ralph reaches out to me a month ago and he's like, hey, I want to get into voiceover work. Do you know how that works? It's like, well, yeah, I've been doing that for about 30 years. I mean, I'm not the voiceover guy, but I'm the guy that pays the voiceover guy. So I'm planning, Ralph, seriously on having coffee or a soda with you someday. I got 2 really good connections for you. One of them's right in town. Hopefully he's a little eccentric. What you're going to find out is all voiceover guys are eccentric. You seem pretty grounded, but everyone else is kind of a nut job. So just be ready for that when you get in this industry. But I got I got a guy in Brandon and a guy in Sioux Falls that have been doing it for 30, 40 years. And I'm sure either one of them would help you and mentor you. So we'll get that going. But yeah, this group has been a rock for me. I was telling coach while I was doing yard work that I just been in a funk for the last 2 weeks. And I think I'm just completely worn out because for the last 2 months, all I've done willingly and happily is take care of my wife who is dealing with COVID. For 3 weeks, she's in the hospital and I'm at home at one point, not knowing if she's ever going to come home. And I mean, the day they put her in the hospital, they escorted me right out, and I sat in the parking lot for an hour and a half. I didn't even know what to do. I couldn't remember how to drive. So the first person that called me was Ken Sproles, and then Ed, and kind of talked me through it. They got me home. And then Ken called me again when I got home, and then Ken ordered a steak for me for lunch and all this fun stuff. But it's the things like that you're never going to forget because someone's got you when you can't get it yourself. And that's the people that God's put in your life. The people like Aaron and Bob and Zim and Coach and Alex, how cool it was to meet you at Diane's deal. And, and Jay, Jay Sim calls me one Saturday out of the blue. It was after that, just to chat. We chatted for an hour. It's just the relationships that have been built here. I just want everyone to know that I will always be here for anyone that needs something. And I just think what you shared tonight was real special. It was a story that I needed to hear, because I feel like a cat that's in a grocery bag, except for I can't find the opening. I'm just spinning around like this, trying to find the opening. And it's been going on for 2 or 3 weeks now. And I don't know. It's been a rough few weeks, and we're supposed to be on our way to Florida on Wednesday. And, I'm 3 or 4 days behind in work, and I haven't slept but 2 hours a night for the last 3 or 4 nights, trying to get work done. But stuff that takes me 2 hours usually has taken me 6 for the last 3 weeks. And I don't know why. I just can't figure it out. I just look down and start working and look up, and it's like, holy buckets. That should have been done about 4 hours ago. And then it's 3 a.m. and stuff. So your story hit me right between the eyes today, Aaron. That's just how I've felt. I didn't get on my Bible study this Sunday because we were at my nephew's birthday for the Saturday. And when I miss stuff like that, my whole life just disjoints immediately if I don't have my group and I don't have something going on. So thanks for your story. You inspired me.
You inspire me as well, Chad. I mean, you hang in there, of course. He only gives you as much as we can handle, even though there's lots of times we question that. But, you got a purpose, and you got it figured out. You'll hang in there. I'll lift you up, brother. We all do. So
Definitely need it this week.
yeah.
Aaron, I have a question, and this kind of
Sure.
relates to your relationship with Jay Sim, and
Yeah.
and you coach with him, and obviously he respects you a lot, and you have a pretty good relationship with him. But maybe you could comment on how that all started, back when he was with you coaching and so forth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jay, everyone knew Jay in college, right? I mean, we all did. But, just after I graduated the first time, and then then Bob talked me to go back and get an education degree and squeeze that out. Jay and I were coaching together. We were teammates 2 years, but then coaching together. And then we ended up we're roommates, right? The year or so before I got married and stuff like that. So that's, our relationship started in college, like all of us, kind of did. But I became, or Jay and I became, a lot tighter. I think, right after getting out of Sioux Falls College, we coached together. And then I hired Jay on, I think in 2002, maybe 2003. And he was with me as my OC, line coach at first, but then, morphed into the offense coordinator, and we all know this, but just a brilliant football mind and a beautiful heart and soul. So, but him and I are extremely close. Our family and kids have been close throughout the years as well. And, just like all of us, we've battled our, again, those demons tugging at the coattails at times. And, we've gone through some of that together too. And now he's faced with a pretty big challenge, but, I believe that God's working in his life. Just maybe not what we think, and we don't question that, but anyways, I don't know where you want me to go with that, Coach Young, but
Just
just
curious
that,
now, he called you
yeah,
right now, and obviously, when you get a call, I don't know that he hasn't called anybody else, but he called you, which indicates that there's a pretty close relationship that right at this
yeah.
point that you must have with him, and I think that's
Yeah.
something special.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing, and you know, I don't know why I continue to be amazed by just about how God works, but you know, it's just prior, Coach, just you know, several months or a few months ago, we started connecting, even you know, kind of back to the deeper relationship we have, and I was just starting to speak to him about spirituality, and then Bob, you know, here calls us both up, and we end up, you know, joining, you know, just 3 or 4 of us in that small little you know, Bible study over the lunch hour, and for Jay to participate in that, I mean, it was just kind of, you know, it was a way, what I was looking to kind of bring to Jay, you know, and at least that opportunity. And here you beat me to it, Coach. So I'm always a step behind you.
Well, I think he did it kind of on, if you hadn't have been a part of it, I don't know that Jay would have been a part of it, but I think you gave him the confidence to, I guess, to be open-minded and to really participate in a way that only we can, you know, when you're there, when there's that small group like that, we all kind of feel like there's a chemistry that develops, and people kind of open up just like you're doing tonight, you know, to one another. So anyway,
yeah, I mean, I even saw how Jay, you know, opened up in front of some guys that, you know, he did only a few times just to meet, you know, at times, and for him to do that, you know, I was blessed to be part of that, or all of us were there, and that will continue to grow, you know. So.
Well, before we get off tonight, we're going to pray for Jay, but I see Ed
Yeah.
Chester has joined us down there. I imagine looks like the sun is still shining out in Montana, right, Ed?
Yeah, I apologize. I got in at the end. I'm out at the Bighorn River in Montana, and the sun is just right in my face. So I wanted to show you guys the river. But I'm out here with Brad Pohl. He brought a youth group out.
Yeah.
And we're just having a great time, a fellowship out here. It's a Catholic youth group, and it's really energizing to you know, we've been doing some testimony stuff and some group discussions, and of course we went fishing for 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty amazing. Now I think I'm hidden from the sun. That's what we're looking at from our cabin. So I'm really bummed I missed Beef Cat.
Yeah.
Love you, man.
Yeah, love you too. Hey, here's my view. There's no river, but you know, hey, there you go. Right?
Yeah. So yeah, as I walk over here. Hey Brad, say hi.
Hey, I'm coming, Bradley.
Hi, Brad.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, how you doing, Coach Young?
Good to see you guys. Good to see you,
Did he-
man.
Did he show you the landscape out here where we're at?
Well, he gave us a quick little view, you know, it wasn't what we'd really like to see the whole, you know, I want to see that river that you guys live on out there.
Yeah, it's.
Can you see it from here?
Oh yeah, it's
Here
right
we
out
go.
there.
See, the sun's so bad.
Yeah,
The river's down there.
way over there.
Maybe you can see it this way.
Okay. You mean
Can you
there's
see
fish?
water?
You mean there's fish in that river?
Yeah, we found a few today.
And they're still safe.
No, it's been a great trip.
Yeah, good.
Well, it's great to see you guys doing some ministry out there. Those young people from SDSU, they can be blessed by what you're doing with them. And to take them into that God's creation and talk about things that that really is very, very important in their lives at this stage. So that's I really admire you for doing that. So anyway, we'll keep you praying for you guys out there to open their eyes for you to share besides just fish with them. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Anybody got any questions for Ed or Brad or Aaron or something? We're running kind of past our time to bring it to a close here, but we would like to. You heard about Jay, didn't you, Ed?
Did something happen recently?
Today, he had a procedure. Aaron, can you explain it a little better than I can?
Yeah, they went in and cut the blood supply off to some of the tumors in his liver, and then put some of those chemo beads in. So it was, not extremely invasive, but invasive enough that I'm sure Jay was a little uncomfortable, but it went really well. Is what Joan reported to me, and that he was resting, and I got a call from him here in the middle of this Zoom, so I'm going to call him back here when we're all done, and so he's feeling well enough to make a call, and so we'll get a little more. So that's they're at. He's going to have an MRI in a couple of weeks and do more of. I think that's going to be more of a evaluation of a transplant evaluation. So kind of what we need to do, from my understanding, and I hope I'm not speaking, kind of out of or with not all the information, but is that our prayers really need to focus on him being healthy enough for a possible transplant.
Well, we'll shoot some prayers up from Montana. This is a good
Yeah.
praying.
Yeah.
You're closer to God out there in Montana anyways.
Yeah, you should be.
He's right around, right on the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always on the bumper stickers from anybody with a Montana license plate. So
let's have a word of prayer, can we?
Absolutely.
Father, we come to you right now, Lord, petitioning in a special way for Jay as he's been through that procedure today, that the procedure will shrink that tumor and keep him in a physical condition, that he'll be a good candidate for a transplant, if that'll be the next move for him. Lord, we just thank you for Joan and how she has been so close to him, and we just thank you for changes that he's making in his life, Lord, in so many ways, and how he's growing in his relationship to you, Almighty God. And we just thank you for that, and we just thank you for the good work that the doctors did today, and we just can continue to lift him up and pray for healing now as he recovers from that procedure. And Lord, we pray also for Chad and Melissa. Lord, it's a difficult situation to go through with that brain tumor, that surgery can't be done, and all they can do is rely on chemo and a drug infusion that is meant to block the blood flow to the tumor. And we just pray, Lord, that you'll be with them each and every day, Lord, that you give them, that that you will find a way that you can stabilize this tumor growth. And Lord, we just pray, Lord, as they go to Mayo next week, that they will be able to find some things, maybe make some decisions in the future and everything. But Lord, it's they need your guidance, Lord, and we just pray for your Holy Spirit in both cases, that for these two men that we love so much, and that you'll continue to be with them. Pray for Ed and Brad out there as they minister to those young people out there, and the great environment they're in out there, that they can sense the presence of your Holy Spirit and God himself in the fishing and that river that is such a legendary river that they go to try to catch the fish, and we just thank you for what they're doing out there. We pray this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
You bet. Thanks, Coach, and all of you guys. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Right on.
Okay. Thanks,
Right on.
Aaron. I appreciate what
Hey,
you did
blessings
tonight.
to all of you, and thanks
Love you guys.
for everything. Okay.
Thanks so much. Okay, buddies.